Hi, welcome to the Literature Lounge, which is literally and totally dedicated to authors who write books that make great films and conversation starters. So let's just talk books. So, hi, in today's episode, we have with us Mr. Ashis, the author of musical Maverick. So, just to talk a little bit about Ashish, before I start this entire conversation about your book, I think it'll be wonderful to know a little bit about your background, your experience, and what got you into this entire journey of writing a book and what motivated you to write, the autobiography of such a well known musician. And music has been a very prevalent theme, as we found out. Tell me all about it, Ashish.
Okay, at first, it's a pleasure, it's a privilege to be here. Thank you, Mohua, for inviting me to be here to be chatting with you. Professionally, I'm a teacher. I teach English in a government school here in Calcutta, and there was no prospect of being a writer in any way. I am a writer because I'm a writer of academic books. For my student, I write grammar books under one eminent publication here in Calcutta. I wrote quite a few grammar books, but definitely that was not my passion. My passion was, being a Bengali, you must be knowing that we all love to be a poet. We all love to be a storyteller. So, for a sizable time of my life, I used to write stories where I wanted to live with the characters. And I did not finish a single story because I did not want to get the story finished. And that was all for me only. So there was no chance, there was no dream at all that all these stories will be published at some point of my life. Same here, same now also. But now when I started traveling, so travel and music, these two things go hand in hand with me. And when I started traveling, there I, for the first time, I felt that I want a book to be written by me, which will be shown in the book racks of Starmark or any other places, the bookstores. I got the chance that my travel stories got published, but not in the books, but in the journals. And now, how I came to be a biographer of two people. One first is Louis Banks, and now Shankar Mahadevan. That's an interesting story, of course. I'm a huge R.D. Burman lover, a big time R.D. Burman fan. I know almost all of our age, or all people of our age are like that, any music lover. And I wanted to be a drummer in R.D. Burman's team. That was my secret wish, if I could be a drummer in his team. No chance. My father was deadly against of me being a drummer. So no, no chance. I got it fulfilled to some extent when I enrolled myself in an R.D. Burman Foundation in Calcutta. The name of the foundation is Euphony, and we do shows with the original R.D. Burman players. In one of our shows, Mr. Louis Banks, who played for more than 12, 13, or 14 years with R.D. Burman, he came as a guest. I expressed my desire for the first time that, sir, I want to write a biography on you. And he agreed. And when he agreed, I did not have any channel, any contact where I can see myself as a biographer, a full-fledged biographer. But things fell in place. And through when I was writing the book on Louis Banks, I met Shankar Mahadevan. And Shankar Mahadevan owes a lot to Louis Banks during his formative years in those ad films, in so many fusion gigs, in Indo-jazz fusion. So Shankar Mahadevan and Louis Banks, they are great pals. They are great buddies. And I expressed the desire to Mr. Banks at first. Louis Banks told me, Ashish, you don't tell it to him. I will tell it to Shankar on your behalf. Oh, God. And it was actually Louiz gave the proposal to Shankar at first, Shankarji at first, that Ashish wants to write a biography. And Shankarji came to open the book, to launch the book in the first biography. And on that very day, I told him, sir, I want to write a book on you. Okay, go ahead. And well, this is how I started writing on as a biographer, at first for Louis Banks, and now in the last 3 years with Shankar Mahadevan. So this is how I Literally, now I am now I feel good that I am known to be a biographer of Shankar Mahadevan. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course it is. It is such a pleasure. I mean, I can imagine. But as much as I want to now ask you about your book, but I have to tell you a little bit about Louis Banks and me. When I just
Uh,
began my career, and I used to be a journalist, and then I moved into PR, and in the hotel industry in Moria, I joined as a PR straight from journalism, young 23-year-old or 24-year-old, and there I met Louis Banks, and with Pam Crane, and
ah,
they were. Yes, and they were the biggest jazz lovers and the
absolutely.
jazz musicians, and I have very very good memories of Louis Banks with Pam Crane, Louis Banks with his wife, and spending time and talking about his life. And Kolkata, of course, happens like I said earlier to you, is a city of music lovers and book
Correct.
lovers too. And so I also knew this very famous musician called Carlton
Mm-hmm.
Keto,
Carlton
who
Kita.
also used to play jazz. And so yes, music is like you said, Ashish, in the start of the conversation, that it's something that we probably grow up with. I think every home, every part of India has such a beautiful, you know, genre of their own music in their own language. And as a Bengali, of course, I mean, we hear a lot of Rabindra Sangeet, and we are also exposed
Absolutely.
to global music. So,
Yeah.
of course, I mean, music is so integral. I can make that out, Ashish. What inspired you to write the book Musical Maverick, and how long did it take you to write this book? And what was the journey to bring it to its completion? Because, many authors really struggle as to how is it that you will complete the book. And that is such a struggle because, I just finished a book of mine which has found a home with Rupa. And it was letters to my father, and then finally, actually, my editor turned around and said that now you've got to stop because it's unending, because you're constantly, yeah, because there are thoughts that are constantly playing in your head. So how did you come to the end of writing this entire book, The Musical Maverick?
Okay. Okay. At first, I want to read the book that you have written, and I'm waiting to read the book. Yeah. Okay.
Pathavo.
Sure. Ekdam. Okay. As I told you, my I grew up with the music of R.D. Burman, and I just the music for me, Indian music for me was all R.D. Burman. After that, in the 90s, I loved the music of Jatin Lalit. So up first R.D. Burman and then Jatin Lalit, and the last 30 years it was all Shankar S. and Loy. So absolutely, this new millennium music to me is Shankar S. and Loy because of that guitar, because of the drum, all those technical things of a music lover look for. And when I found that I approached Shankar Mahadevan as a part of Shankar S. and Loy team. To be very frank. So, because I found that here is a chance of writing a book on Shankar S. and Loy, the music whose music I love. And now, when I was journeying through, before actually I started writing the first line of the book, I was researching on Shankar Mahadevan. I found that Shankar Mahadevan is huge. He is huge. Shankar S. and Loy is just a small part of Shankar Mahadevan. And when I got intrigued by the dimension, that multi dimensions of that man, I found that I should be exploring him into details. So 2, 3 months I just took to read Shankar Mahadevan, listening to Shankar Mahadevan, apart from being an ACL member. And when I finally found it, and then I actually officially wrote the mail, just sir, now I am ready. If you were ready, then I will go for the first line of the book. And he said, okay, go ahead. So that is the first reason that Shankar Mahadevan became the part of this musical maverick. Another thing, Mohua, that see, I'm always intrigued by any person who doesn't limit himself or herself to any particular field. That he is identified with this. Louis Banks is known to be the godfather of Indian jazz, but Louis Banks' identity is not just a jazz man. So he has crossed the barrier of being just a jazz man. Shankar Mahadevan is not just a person of Shankar S and Loy. So that is the first thing that really attracted me, that how multifaceted one person can be. And between Louis and Shankar Mahadevan, one thing is very much common, that both of them are great human beings. I wonder now, definitely I'll write more books, but I wonder, I think I have met the two best people in the world. So I don't know, whomever I approach now will be as good as them, because they are great people. So, so that is the reason. And as you told me correctly, that it is very difficult to finish a book, and when the person is at the very what I'll say, the acme of his career, the pinnacle of his career, he has just won the Grammy. You know what happened? I finished writing the book in 3 years, and I am lucky in that way that I almost every person I approached, they complied to my request, because whenever I took the name that Shankar Mahadevan gave you a number or gave you a contact ID, so they were all very eager to help me out. So I am very lucky in that way. I finished writing the draft of the book before I sent it to Rupa, around June last year, June. So many things were still happening. Grammy tour, Grammy nomination, and I felt how to add little bit of it, little bit of that. So during the editing process also, before the final day, I wrote that the album, this moment, has got the Grammy nomination. So it is there in the book. Before 20 days of that, the award went to him. I wrote the last line of that book, that it has got the Grammy nomination. So it was really, really an unending process. I had to stop somewhere. And when I stopped writing it, I sent a letter to Shankarji. I told him that this is your book. And in the PS, I wrote that please allow me to write the second part after 10 years of this book. So it is still not finished. It's still going on. So it is just the first volume, maybe the first volume of a big, big story that Shankar Mahadevan is. And yeah, it took around 3.5 years to complete writing the book. Yeah.
Could you just detail the transformation, of one of Shankar Mahadevan's songs from its inception to worldwide recognition? Like we are all extremely proud, of the Grammy that he recently won. As a country, we definitely take it as a collective pride. So tell us a little bit about the transformation, of some of his iconic melodies and now this worldwide recognition.
Just if I take a leaf from what you have just spoken, the Grammy thing. The Grammy thing happened in the his induction in this Shakti band, which I have written in
Yes.
details in the book. I'm just telling you the snapshots as the development, the evolutionary process of Shankar Mahadevan. Shankar Mahadevan was with Tawfiq Qureshi, the younger brother of Zakir Hussain, Ustad Zakir Hussain. He was there in a recording studio, and in that recording studio, they were recording vocal music, vocal percussion. So all the music pieces were done with the vocal things, the drums in vocal, the flute that is also in vocal part, saxophone part that was also in the vocal part. These two maestros were going on in that particular day of recording when Mr. Tawfiq Qureshi dropped the proposal that my brother said such and such things to you, that can you drop a line, any line that you can sing, a kriti. Uh, Shankarji was, well, he thought that Shakti, the music on which I grew up, now somebody like Zakir Hussain is giving me the proposal of sending a demo line to be considered by John McLaughlin, who is sitting there in the US, for his induction, for his probable induction in the band. So he just stopped recording what they were doing. He just stopped recording. He just wanted someone to play a particular tune, particular scale, and he impromptu, in an absolutely impromptu way, he sang a few lines, sang a few kritis. He sent it to John McLaughlin through Zakir Hussain. He forgot. After a few months, there was no response from John McLaughlin. Suddenly a phone came that John McLaughlin loved his voice within 30 seconds that he listened to Shankarji's recording, and he called him up that you were selected to be there in Shakti band. And well, and when at that time Shakti was traveling to India, to Bombay, they were having a show in Bombay, Saturday Night in Bombay. The name of the show was Saturday Night in Bombay, and Shankarji had no idea which he is going to sing the next day. The show was next day. And there he found a person, Yu Srinivas, is a darling of a man. He said that he's a sweetheart of a man. He passed away. He taught Shankarji Giriraj Sudha, the song Giriraj Sudha. Just a day before, they rehearsed, they sang the song. That song is there in this album, this moment, and this moment has won the Grammy. So, see the, and there are so many examples in my book also. So, there are so many songs that there. I just refer to one more song, Mohua. Mirza is a film, Mirza, that Gulzar Saab's last outing with Shankar Loy and Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra. There is a song, Avere Hichki, which is a huge favorite of all the people who made this song. Huh? Shankarji's favorite, Gulzar's favorite, Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra's favorite. The story of the song goes like that in a particular day, on that particular day, Gulzar Saab brought Shankarji in his home. Let's talk music. And Avare Hichki is a term, again being a same pinch, that Hichki is something whenever we do the Hichki, somebody is remembering us. So they were just speaking in that way. The Avare Hichki is the only term, only two words written. No other words were written on that day. They were talking music, and Shankarji was singing on the sargam part with the lyrics part, and he was just, it was a musical stream of consciousness. He was going on with this flow of music. One line he was finishing the songless part, Gulzar Sahab was there and he was putting words on that. Again, another line that he sang, Gulzar Sahab was putting words on that. And in that way, the song is an asymmetrical. There is no symmetrical stanzas in the song. There is no such mukra, antara. There is nothing like that. It was just going on with the flow, going on with the flow. And finally, it is one of the best compositions of Shankar Loy. So I have got so many other songs, the references of such evolution of songs, as you said in the book. But I think one should be reading the book to know the details of the other songs that saw the light of the day, actually.
So, of course, I mean, it's so interesting to hear from you about, the association with Shakti. And I'm also personally a big fan of the Shakti group and their last concert that they did in Bangalore. I mean, I was sitting right in front watching them perform. It's magical, to say the least. So, tell
Absolutely.
us a little bit, like, perspectives by shedding light on what Shankar Mahadevan is all about, aspects that people who follow his music do not know about him. And you've, of course, had a very close association. You've already told us about the fact that Shankar Ehsaan Loy, which is so known by all of us, there is more to him than, what meets the eye. So, what are those things, Ashish?
Yeah. So that, if you ask me, what is the biggest takeaway after reading this, after writing this book, and after living a life that Shankar Mahadevan led for 3 years, the biggest takeaway is the person that I came across. Very, very rarely a man of such a huge stature is so humble, is so down to earth. When I went to his studio, I went to his home, and he just asked me that which tea that do you prefer? The Bengalis are so fond of teas. And I once told him that I want liquor tea without sugar. After that, I met him several times in his home, in the studio, outside studio, during his concert. And not for once I was asked. Among so many people, he singled out Ashish needs one liquor tea. So he makes you feel special. I found so many people who just comes across Shankar Mahadevan, who just came across Shankar Mahadevan, and Shankar Mahadevan will individually connect to each of them, and he will make him special. So, in that online concert, I was the only person who was sitting in an online concert. Everybody was standing, the technical crew and the musicians, of course, and he assured that Ashish should be sitting somewhere. So this was embarrassing and it was overwhelming. There were so many people, overwhelming, absolutely. You know, so I can speak on, I just go on speaking on Shankar Mahadevan as that humanistic viewpoint. And now, so far, other people don't know that as you told me, the way he makes music. If you ask me, that what I found in Shankar Esan Loy and Shankar Mahadevan, that the man is filled with music. I can tell you one thing, Mohua. Just remember, I just suddenly it came across my mind. I was asking Gulzar Saab, say something on Shankar Mahadevan, and Gulzar Saab just went on speaking. And one thing I remembered, he spoke in Hindi, and my Hindi is terrible, so I'm trying to speak it in English only. He said that I always say that you are a musical matka, not because of he is like this. Even if he is thin, I would have said him that a slender matka that you are. Because wherever he goes, music comes out. So he is made, is filled with music. Another thing I must say, this is something very rare, that he is a source of joy. He found that music is a source of joy. Music is not just another profession. So he made sure that anyone who is associated with music gets that sublime joy which is inherent in oneself. And he tried to make sure that whoever comes across him, comes in his vicinity, finds that peace, finds that joy. This is unthinkable. Absolutely. I met so many people while interviewing other people, other acquaintances, that they are all great in their own domain. No, there is no doubt in that. But very rarely you come across a person that when the long you are there, as long as you are there with him, you feel the vibe. You feel a wonderful vibe. There is so much of positivity. There is, he just breathes in music. He just breathes joy. And that is the best thing that I loved in him. And another thing that, if again I can go on speaking about a Shankarji, apart from being a musician, he is known to be a friend among friends. When I was asking the questions to his childhood friends, there are references, there are chapters of on his childhood days with his childhood friends. I met two, three people. I spoke to two or three his childhood friends, and Shankarji happens to be a musician. Had he not been a musician, I could have written a short story or a novel on Shankarji as a friend, as a lover of Sangita Mahadevan. So the love story, when I was listening to the love story, when I was listening to the stories of how their friends that they grew up with, the 10 people, the 9 people whom they call themselves as the originals. The WhatsApp group that they have is originals. So I have got a chapter here in the book. When I was listening to those stories, these are rare. These things are absolutely rare. I was literally pissed off when Divaka told me to trim the book because it was getting fatter and fatter. Because there were so many things to say that, yeah, we know Shankar Mahadevan as one of the greatest musicians of the time, but we don't know what a great person that he is. Maybe someday or other I will take a different name. I will not give Shankar as a name. I will take a different name and write a short story based on his life. So this is what I took.
So let's just talk a little bit about how did you explore in your book, his impact on Indian classical music and the broader social sphere. So, the kind of impact that's there because obviously he has a very, very strong background in Indian classical music. It just comes through every time one listens to him. And there is music also that is, in a broader sense. So could you just tell us how he marries the two together?
Okay. See, there is no, what I said, there is no question the immensity of his depth, the genius that he is, so far he being the classical musician is concerned. So he is a Himalayan figure. He's a huge figure. Forget about that. One thing is bitter but true, that Shankar Mahadevan became Shankar Mahadevan not as a classical singer. I'm sorry. He became Shankar Mahadevan first from Breathless and next from being a Shankar Ehsan Loy team. But here lies his greatness. Anybody, you just take anyone, almost anyone of this present day musicians. They are great. They are absolutely phenomenal musicians there here at the present time, or the time when Shankar Mahadevan is singing. But they are all Bollywood singers. They are all Bollywood musicians. And Shankar Mahadevan could be as great as a Kishore Kumar or a Asha Bhosle or a Lata Mangeshkar had he limited himself being just a Bollywood musician. He did not. He felt that the joy that I am getting will be complete, the success that I am getting will be complete when I take India to the doorstep of the world. And India is such an enriched country where the classical music is going on for ages. So the fame, the name, the money, the success that I have earned as a Bollywood musician, as a Bollywood singer, I will capitalize this to spread classical music to the world. So when a great classical musician, a wonderful classical musician, there are so many great folk singers, there are so many great classical musicians in India at the present time, but it's sad to say that we don't know the name of them. We can hardly name five sitar players. We hardly name six thumri singers. Shankar Mahadevan takes the responsibility, owns the responsibility that I will take this classical, Indian classical music to the world. And that is how he has learned one. I just give an example of one devotional song, Ab Radhe Rani. I mentioned that in my book. Ab Radhe Rani, he learned it from a teacher named Tara Devi, and Tara Devi is very close to Ranjit Barot. Hmm. His Mosi, I think his Mosi, Ranjit Barot's mother's elder sister or younger sister, Tara Devi. Shankarji told me that Tara Devi can be known just for that one single song of Radharani. Nobody knows that song of Radharani. Very few people know, or maybe people of that particular domain know this. When Shankarji visited with Zakir Hussain, being a part of Cross Currents group in USA, it was absolutely Indo jazz fusion music, hardcore Indo jazz fusion music. He fused our Radharani in that framework. So, in that way, he is the flag bearer of Indian classical music to the world. So far, the folk music is concerned, folk is another a very niche domain. There are so many great Rajasthani folk songs, Bengali folk songs, Gujarati folk songs. One Desert Storm festival is there, NH Weekender festivals are there, where people flock there, all the young boys and girls flock there. Hardly one can come across people of our age. So those particular festivals are all for those young people. And they are all just put on those Che Guevara shirt, Jim Morrison shirts, tattooed things, and they keep shouting and all, guitar, drums. Shankarji went there with the folk musicians wearing those ardi dresses, competed means shared the same stage and sang Chalat Musafir, sang one Rajasthani folk song. The purpose is to popularize the Indian folk music along with all those current breed of rock singers. So this is how he takes that. He is a paladin, just like Louis Banks is the single person from India to bring the Indian jazz to the world. Shankar Mahadevan at this present age, so I don't think he finds any parallel. Right now, after Asha Bhosle, Lata Mangeshkar, there is just no parallel to Shankar Mahadevan in bringing India to the doorstep. And he found another thing. He has got a great Shankar Mahadevan Academy. You must be knowing that. Shankar Mahadevan Academy, where he teaches, the purpose of setting up Shankar Mahadevan Academy is to spread Indian classical music among all. And since it is an online platform, people from all over the world know about that Indian classical music. So, his life is dedicated to that. So Bollywood music is an offshoot. But I think if he is asked how he is to be known, he is to be known as a person who comes from India, who speaks for India. So he's always wearing the flag of India over him. And wherever he goes, he takes it along with him. So that is how he is the flag bearer of Indian classical music.
How
Yeah.
wonderful, Ashish. Ashish, you're the authorized person to write Shankar Mahadevan's autobiography. I mean, this is such a amazing feather in your entire hat
Thank
of
you.
being a writer, of an
Thank you. It's
author.
privilege.
So
It's
many of us,
privilege.
we will, wish to do this, but we can't do it because many people may not trust us. So, I would request you to read a few lines from the book, a little bit about his childhood memories. I think that would be very
Okay.
interesting for our listeners.
Okay. Okay. I will. I will. Uh, okay. Okay. I'll just read two paragraphs from two different chapters that will connect, right? There is one chapter called Katta. Katta is in Bengali we know as Thek, Adda Thek. So in Maharashtra, this is Katta is synonymous, analogous to what we use at Adda Thek. Kishore Kumar and the originals. I read just a paragraph. The boys are the friends. The boys especially looked forward to the day after the term and exam results were declared. On those days, their happy hunting ground would be the beautiful church and the field adjacent to it. Some of them would top the list, while some others would flunk. Sudarshan would come with his sorrowful story of failing in maths and the draconian ire of his father. Some friends would say some sympathetic words of comfort, and someone else would mimic Sudarshan's father, making others laugh as a result. They would talk about another friend, Manoj, getting a severe dressing down after he was caught taking a puff from the cigarettes kept inside his father's kurta. The sweet and sour tales of adolescent crushes, the hilarious chain of events following misplaced love letters, the invariable rebuttal of the scared, unwinnable girls, or even a nudge of approval was part of their evening chats. They would have fun all the time. Their philosophy of life was to laugh about their problems instead of sulking over them. These moments were part of their brief adolescence, filled with laughter and limitless lunacy. I'll just read one short paragraph. I inserted this paragraph in the chapter of luck by chance. So I will read just two paragraphs from that luck by chance chapter. In the touching end sequence of the film, the prospering actor Farhan Akhtar is seen chucking out a get together with his childhood friends for the golden opportunity of meeting the superstar Shah Rukh Khan. In the film, Shah Rukh Khan played a cameo there. He played himself at a glitzy, glamorous film party. One of the prime examples of a struggler becoming a superstar, Shah Rukh Khan is shown advising the newly successful actor. Stardom is a cocktail of fame, power, and money. It is an insane addiction. But one thing I understood clearly: don't forget that your childhood friends knew you when you were nothing, because they are the ones who speak the truth every time. This echoes the values that Shankar always carries with him. Notwithstanding the pinnacle of success he reached, he remained the good old Jadia, his nickname, who was always at his elemental best when he returned to the originals, once the glimmer of the film party went down. So these are this is something which I just loved sharing with everyone. But I also grew up with my childhood friends and I love to be with them. Now we are all decentralized. Somebody of them are living in Bangalore also. One of my very close friends lives in Bangalore. So the days when we meet are the best days of the year. So when I interviewed Sudarshan ji, Manoj ji, Umesh ji, I found that the values of childhood friendship, and he gives importance to them the most. People from industry know that Shankar ji always travels with his friends. This is something which is so rare, which is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not about forgetting your roots. And I completely relate to it because my best friends, even today, are my childhood friends. My school friends who's going to just tell me to behave myself and tell me the truth. And they will mince no words in saying that to you because they don't
Absolutely
care, what you become, who you are over the years. It is what it is from the school days when you were, exchanging, trying to count all the change that you had to have something together. And
correct.
so, yes, I think we are that generation also who are trying to hold on, to those memories. And so I relate to that fully. So, before we end, there would be a little bit that I'd like to know. What are the kind of challenges you faced while writing the autobiography, and any advice that you would like to give to the younger generation who want to pursue their career, in the world of music? It is not easy. We all know that. And of course, writing an autobiography is not also easy. You have to get the essence of the person, the personality, everything should come out, and you're actually walking, talking to the entire readers and also right now for my listeners. So, what were the challenges? It would be lovely to hear from you, Ashish.
See, the biggest challenge, I will be very frank here, Mohua. So when I'm writing on someone, the first primordial thing is that I have to love that man, because it needs 3, 4, 5 years. You never know when your book is going to finish. So until and unless you literally love that man to that extent, you can't live his life for 4 years. It cannot be a task that I have taken a task of writing on someone, I have to finish that. Then you cannot be true to your work. So the first thing is that your love, and your love comes out. When you are writing the biography, your love comes out. Your admiration comes out. But there is the crux. When you are writing on someone, you cannot be such a person with whom uh, that you are actually eulogizing him pages after pages. You have to be a detached observer as well. So now making a balance of the two becomes a huge, huge challenge. So whenever I am writing on the songs of Rockford, आसमां के पार शायद और भी आसमां होगा. So I am remembering before 20 years when I was listening to that song and the effect that it had on me. If I start writing on that, it will be 2 pages long. Now I have to be a detached observer. No, no, no. I have to cut down my emotion. I have to cut down all the metaphors which are coming in my mind. And I have to be a detached observer. And often, otherwise, it will be a hagiography. So autobiography is not just what I feel. Everybody has to relate. And their simultaneously involvement with the person and an artistic detachment with the subject. It has to go hand in hand. I think that is the biggest challenge. At least writing in the last two books, I felt that to be the biggest challenge. Another challenge is definitely, see, these people are very busy people, they're so busy people. So on writing on Shankar Mahadevan, I had to bank on people from movie industry as well. And they're, well, the time is there is no such. I cannot be true to the time constraint. Divakar kept on asking me, but he is very gentle. He is extremely gentle. That he never put a gun behind at my back. That when you are going to finish it, not for once. So my publisher is such a kind person to me, but not every time that you get a support from the publisher, because you never know when your autobiography is going to finish. Sorry, the biography is going to finish, because you have to bank on other persons as well. So that is the second challenge. But the biggest challenge is definitely how to keep yourself away and also into it. That is the biggest challenge. And my advice, well, for the music, see, again, as have come across to great people, one thing has to be there, that you have to be passionate, not for the sake of the term passionate. It's very easy. I feel good that I have got a passion for music. I've got a passion for English literature and all. If you have really the passion for that, there is no way of speaking it, because it's all there inside you. If you speak it out, I personally feel you are lessening. You are actually undermining it. Your love for something should be so big that you can't actually express it in your words. If you have that, you have got to succeed. You will succeed. Shankar Mahadevan chucked the job of a pushy job of a software professional, and at that time he got a job in the US. He had, well, no future in music. He got to sing some one or two liners in ad films. Vis-a-vis a pushy job in Oracle, huge job in software in the industry. He left that. And today he's Shankar Mahadevan. So if one is passionate, if one can see himself, if one dreams himself to be there 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, if he's really true to his love, his liking, his own desire, one can be successful.
Then the world
Surely.
will get together to take you ahead, as they say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Things will fall in place.
So the last question, Ashish, that comes to my mind is like a quick fire. Passion or money, do they go hand in hand?
This is very difficult to answer in a quick fire thing. Passion and money, this is something which I have a duel with my close friends now also. I personally feel if money drives you, passion cannot be there. If money is the driving factor, just now after we finish the interview, if I just go out and talk to my wife, I will have a feud with her. No, she will go against me. And if I meet my friends today in the evening, they will go against me. But I personally feel in all my life, if money is the driving force, you cannot pursue your passion. No, you can't. This is my subjective viewpoint. Other way around. Other way around. If you're really passionate about doing something, money will follow suit. It will come. It will definitely come, but not the other way. Please don't be driven. That is my word. That is my Ashish Ghatak's word only. It's not that to be taken care of in that way. But well, that is what I personally feel, that if money drives you to succeed, I don't think that you can succeed after a certain level. But if passion drives you to succeed, you will definitely succeed.
You spoke my heart, Ashish, that anybody who's driven by money to take their passion forward is
I don't think.
not possible
I'm
to
not
reach
sure.
those heights. Exactly. You have spoken my heart. And thank you so much for being on today's podcast. It was an absolute honor to have you with us.
It's
And
a pleasure.
waiting for the next autobiography that you're going to write, or the short story book. And thank you. Thank you for tuning into the Literature Lounge, which is an all year round audio literature festival dedicated to writers across the globe. You can get in touch with us via LinkedIn or DM us at our Instagram page, The Mohua Show. Or you can also email us at hello@themohuashow.com to discuss your books and also meet authors you haven't yet met at the Literature Lounge.